Good morning, everyone. Valto Chief here, professional problem solver, coming to you live to talk about Amazon. Amazon is disrupting the car industry. Are you prepared? This is not only for the professionals in the car industry, it's also for you, the consumer. If you are a consumer, how is that going to change your life? How is that going to change your experience? And of course, it's also for those that are actively working in the car industry. So, first of all, is Amazon starting to sell cars? Are they going to start to sell cars? Yes, absolutely, they are. It has been decided, it has been publicly announced. Amazon is going to start selling cars beginning of January 2024. We're a few weeks away from experiencing the Amazon car sales experience. So, why this is bad for the car industry and why this is good? This is not a message of negativity. There's a lot of hope in this message. So please stick to the end. I'm going to try to make it brief. I'm going to be very short. And we'll share with you how you can use this opportunity to not only survive, but thrive towards the end of my message. And how, if you're not prepared, you really need to be worried because Amazon doesn't play around. One of the things that I know for a fact is that Amazon is trying to disrupt the car industry for a long time. For first time, I heard probably 10 years ago, and around 5 or 6 years ago, I saw a representative from Amazon doing a presentation in one of the conferences that are specifically for the automotive industry. And one thing I know for sure, Amazon is a little bit like the FBI. They don't come to arrest you unless they have the case built, unless the case is impeccable. And Amazon has been preparing to disrupt the car industry for at least 10 years. So if they're announcing it publicly, that means they're ready and they know they're going to win. They have data, they have certainty, and they also have a long term plan to dominate the car industry, not just to get involved with a 5-10% market share. They're wanting to disrupt the car industry. And if they were able to disrupt the retail industry, if they were able to disrupt the food industry, they literally bought out Whole Foods and many, many other industries. They're going to be successful in the car industry as well. What does that look like? How does Amazon sell cars? First of all, they're not going to deliver the car in one of their prime trucks. They're still using the dealership. So, Amazon, in the beginning of 2024, is going to let shoppers search for new cars. They're going to search based on different categories, different models, different makes, different price, different algorithm. And shoppers will be able to finance the vehicle. They'll be able to choose financing options, apply for loan through Amazon, complete the entire transaction on Amazon, buy warranty and other aftermarket services, any upgrades, just like they do with any other product. Others smart buyers chose to invest in this. So they're going to also be involved in other products, not just cars, that are related to the car purchase and the car experience. And then here's the funny part, you're going to either pick up the car that you bought from Amazon from your local dealership, or it's going to be shipped by your local dealership to your home. Now, there is a law in most states. If you choose to have your car delivered to your place where you live, it's technically solicitation, so you have 3 days to return it. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that flexibility, that even after legally binding contract, they're going to be able to return the car, replace the car. And I'm sure that's one of the advantages Amazon is going to offer. Amazon is famous with being buyer oriented, doing right with the buyer. If you sold anything on Amazon, you would know that sellers are not treated as nice as buyers. Sellers usually pay for the mistakes and for dissatisfaction from the buyer end. The seller pays for that. So, Amazon had built trust with buyers. People are addicted to Prime, people are addicted to speed, and now they're going to implement the same values, the same consistency, with the purchase of an automobile. But the funny part here is that dealers are not completely excluded. The only thing that is excluded is the sales process. So who's getting fired? Who's getting skipped? Who's getting the short end of the stick here? It's the car salesperson. Is the car salesperson who forgot to be a person. Look, there's a huge rise in AI. And I just recently had an experience with Apple, even with my own bank, where I speak to representatives online, and the only thing they have is word tracks and telling me how there's nothing they can do. And obviously, I'm radically relational. For those of you that know me, I'm radically relational, non-transactional, and I still have hope in human interaction. So when I run into those customer service issues, I try to inspire the representatives to be humans, to be problem solvers, to take charge and offer me solutions, not to tell me what they can't do, but what they're able to do for me. And Amazon is they have mastered great customer service. They have loyal buyers because what creates loyalty? Trust, number one, consistency, number two, and combination of likeness. So if people like you, if there's like a common ground or some sort of connection, personal connection, and you're trustworthy and consistent, they can trust you and they can be loyal to you. So Amazon has nailed it. But the fact that they're not going to be selling cars directly from Amazon just blows me away because they're still going to use the dealer to deliver the car, but they're going to own the sales process. Now, what cars they're going to be selling? They're going to be selling Hyundais. They're going to start with Hyundai. And Hyundai is not a small brand. Hyundai, as a matter of fact, for those of you that don't know, they build the big robots that build Toyotas and Acuras and all the other brands. So Hyundai is a major manufacturer and they manufacture cars. For those of you that don't know how the car industry works and what dealers do, Hyundai produces the car. They're in the car industry, they're in the car business. They sell cars, they advertise cars, they're focused on cars. But the dealer doesn't only sell cars. The dealer sells the cars, they sell the service, and they also sell the parts. So it's a one stop shop for customer experience with anything car related. So dealer is technically a broker. And the digital shift, AI, applications, and Amazon, Google, and all these big companies are trying to now remove the middleman, the broker. They want to become the middleman, they want to become the broker, and they want to automate the whole experience. It's not as romantic as it used to be, but it's very efficient. And the new generation is addicted to speed, not so much human interaction. So the dealer is a broker that buys the cars from Hyundai and sells them at a profit. The salesperson is a mini broker hired by the dealer, responsible for interacting with the consumer. And when the salesperson stops interacting with the consumer, when the salesperson drops the human aspect, when they stop building relationship with the consumer, then the consumer fires the salesperson. But they still need to buy the car. So that's the problem. How did we get here? We got here through different eras and different stages of development that lead us to this point, which I'm going to unfold in just a little bit. Now, you might be curious, is Amazon going to start selling their own cars one day? Yes, they will. Maybe they're not going to have the brand Amazon, but it's not a secret that Amazon owns Rivian, which is electric car. So, how can these big companies, Google, Apple, Amazon, disrupt the car industry? Number one requirement is if they are electric cars, because electric cars are easier to control, they're easier to regulate, they're easier to um, implement all the technology they have for offering the most impact on the consumer, the target marketing, right? So why do Amazon want to get involved in the car industry? Is it because they're interested in selling cars? Yeah, maybe. But there is a much deeper connection and much bigger vision. So Amazon will continue to sell cars in the future. They're going to increase the brands involved. I think that if Hyundai project becomes super successful, Lexus is going to follow, Toyota, Honda, all those manufacturers that have good reputation, and they have already started the process of eliminating the dealer by decreasing the profit. Everybody knows that there's not so much profit margin with Honda and Toyota because they have a good reputation. And they've already started excluding the dealer. It's a combination of COVID, what happened during COVID, which created leverage for the car dealer, the low supply and the high demand, and a lot of the money that was just put in the economy, a lot of the fake money, like I like to call it, really disrupted the industry and turned it upside down and drove the value of cars up, the price of cars up. And dealers were just put in incredible unfair advantage, so they didn't need to sell because the supply was low and the demand was high, and that played a really bad favor for car salesmen and car dealers because they became arrogant. They started to take shortcuts. They forgot interpersonal skills, presentation skills. They threw salesmanship out the window, so they became extremely transactional, extremely arrogant, and that turned off the buyer more than ever before. See, if we go back 20 years, 30 years, we were in the negotiations era. Before information age, consumer didn't know anything about credit scores, approval process, pricing. The only way for them to shop different prices was through magazines and things that they can hold in their hands before the internet. So the dealer strategy to sell cars was to build a perception to the consumer, get them emotionally involved with the product, create that expectation, control the expectation, and that became an opportunity for them to make money. So when you own all of the information, when you're the only person with information and the consumer doesn't have access to this information, it's really, really easy to manipulate the information in your favor and to be in charge of the outcome of this conversation. So 30 years ago, when buyers lacked basic information, the dealers used this as unfair advantage to build perceptions that didn't necessarily match with the reality. Then internet showed up, and the car industry has always been in denial, in delusion that internet was just a phase that would eventually expire, but internet obviously is here to stay. So all dealers eventually were forced to have websites to advertise their lowest price, and they started competing on price. We call that era, that season, race to the bottom. And consumer had another bad taste because this time buyers would face fake news, fake prices. They would go to the dealership and be they would be facing uh, terrible negotiations process and misadvertising. So dealers used the low price to attract a lot of traffic, and then they were using different strategies to bump the buyers with higher price by offering services and products that the buyers don't necessarily need, or charging it for destination fee or inspection or other creative processes and perks, that even pinstripes or packages to justify the aggressive price. Uh, Thank God we've graduated from that era, but some dealers have nostalgia for that era and they're trying to use those old techniques now, which makes them look like clowns, like fools, because the buyer's tolerance for misadvertising and lying is very, very thin. So we were entering the experience age with full speed before COVID hit. People started to value efficiency, unique experience, personalized experience, expertise, education, and just easiness of the buying process more than the price, more than anything else. All the consumer wanted was a little bit of respect that the same information the dealer has, they also have access. The little bit of respect that they can literally ask Siri or Google simple question on what is the most competitive interest rate or how much is the cost of this and what are the benefits of that, and they can expose the dealer's lies literally within seconds. So the only thing the buyer wanted was a little bit of respect, and a lot of the dealers don't give them that respect, and they assume that buyers are still little slow, little stupid, little dumb, and they don't have access to that information. It's kind of like a delusional state. They don't believe the buyer is smart enough to do the research. And in the era of digital marketing, they don't even have to. A lot of those um, informational sources like Kelly Blue Book and Google and Yahoo and all these sources are going to follow the consumer because they're listening to everything, and they're going to offer those tips, they're going to offer those resources, Credit Karma, all these resources to help the consumer make educated decision and choose the right dealer to do business with. So it's a big mess, and the informational age, created that um, buyer's market, if we may. And we went from buyer's market, buyer who demands a better experience, straight to COVID. And like a light switch, we went to seller's market again, which made dealers very rusty. They didn't have to sell now. They didn't have to be kind to people. They didn't have to follow up. They didn't have to build relationships with people. They weren't required to um, offer above and beyond experience. And buyers were in the corner, forced to do business with them, even though they didn't enjoy it. So the buyer kind of went through all the stages of grief. And now they're coming out of the final stage. They have regret and they're mad because the economy is tanking. Food is expensive, gas is expensive, everything is expensive. They owe way more money because they overpaid for product that is depreciating, and they're not in a good position to refinance or to upgrade, or just they don't have any equity in their product. So they're mad, they're blaming the dealer. And because they're in that final stage of grief, they're angry, they refuse to be loyal. And manufacturers see an opportunity with Amazon to improve their reputations, because manufacturers didn't really get, they had record breaking years, they were very profitable, but they didn't get any of that $15,000 over sticker. The dealer didn't split that with them. So now the manufacturers and the consumers are uniting against the middleman, against the broker, against the dealer. And that's why I think that dealers that have bad intentions, dealers that have malicious intentions, dealers that want to stick it to the customer, are going to suffer from this transition. Dealers that are transactional and they're counting on opportunities that are based on advertising are going to see less and less people in their showrooms. So, just to give you an idea, if you're a consumer and also if you're in the car industry, where do dealers get their clients from? There's generally six categories. The first category are called um, fresh clients, drive-bys, people that see a car parked at a dealership and they're like, oh, I want to go check out this car. There's a very small percentage of consumers that don't do any research before they enter dealership. It's impossible, even if you don't want to do any research, because Google is listening and Apple and all these tools are listening to you. They're going to give you the tools as soon as you anticipate shopping for a car. So it's really hard for buyers. It's almost impossible for buyers not to do any research before they enter dealerships. So it's a very tiny, small percentage of people that go to dealerships that are not prepared, and they don't make emotional decisions. So they have uh, very low probability to purchase because they haven't done any research. And even um, people from any rank in life, any financial bracket, know that they have free tools to do the research. So salespeople are not very successful with those fresh clients because no matter how great things look, no matter how emotionally attached they are to the product, buyers feel like they haven't done enough due diligence, enough research. So they walk away. The second category are ad customers. And ad customers are a little bit like abused dogs. So if you save the dog from a shelter, you know that that dog needs some patience because they've been abused. In the beginning, when you try to offer them some love, when you try to offer them some food, they're gonna be like, ah, they don't trust you. And ad customers are the same way. They don't trust the dealer. They don't trust the salesperson because they've been abused, because they've had a bad experience. They don't have someone they could be loyal to. They don't have someone they could trust on a speed dial. And that's why they're doing a lot of shopping around and they go to whoever has the lowest price. Ah, they are going to be um, harder to deal with. So normally, they would do business with the first dealer about 25% of the time. And car salesmen are not very successful with those clients because the closing ratio is 25%. That's across the nation. Every brand, trust me, I work with hundreds of dealers and thousands of salespeople. This is very, very, very low closing ratio because it's hard to build trust with transactional buyer, with somebody who stereotypes you from the very beginning. And why do they stereotype the salespeople? Is because the salespeople haven't changed their process in the past 25 years. So it's really hard. I call this the gangbanger effect. If you sound like a gangbanger, if you talk like a gangbanger, if you walk like a gangbanger, if you dress like a gangbanger, people will think you're a gangbanger. So it's my mission to help salespeople sound differently and teach them interpersonal skills and create a unique experience for the buyer so they don't get stereotyped and blamed for crime they didn't commit. But unfortunately, salespeople use these old qualification techniques that turn off the buyer more than ever before. So that's why ad customers don't really are not really the best use for dealers' time. And that's where dealers put all of their eggs in the same basket. Advertising has changed. Traditional advertising doesn't work anymore. Billboards don't work. That's why you see empty billboards on the. I mean, they work still, but they're probably too expensive. Newspapers, radio, TV doesn't really work anymore. Not the best way to invest. So everybody's on digital marketing. Everybody is investing big money. Google pay per click, Facebook ads, and it's hard to compete because whoever has the biggest budget will steal the most attention. So dealers that don't have the best budget suffer on the digital marketing aspect, and even if they do, they have to lie, they have to build perception, they have to advertise something that's almost hard to believe so they can attract this traffic. But when you're attracting skeptical people, you're not going to have the best experience with them. And when the only reason why they come to do business with you is the price, then obviously this is what you're attracting. So don't complain that they don't want to connect with you and they don't trust you. Is because you are bringing them with that resource. Moving on, the third category of people that dealers sell cars to are repeat loyal buyers. Now, many buyers are repeat buyers. For example, if you like Johnny Walker Blue, um, maybe you buy it only on Christmas because it's 50% off at Costco, but for regular Tuesday night, maybe it's not your first choice. So that's what I call repeat buyer. Somebody who's expecting the same deal, somebody who goes back because of the same terms, the same conditions, because it's on discount. I mean, all of us are buying things at certain time only when they are on sale. So repeat buyers expect the same great deal every single time. That's why I separate them from loyal buyers, because loyal buyers would skip on better product, lower price just to do business with you, because They're loyal to you because there's trust, there's consistency, and there's also consistency in the values. There's like likeness, there's common ground. Those are pillars for loyalty. So repeat and loyal are not the same. But the closing ratio, the opportunity for sales and success is much higher. Now, dealers are vicious for underestimating the importance of loyalty, and they don't out experience the competition. They don't focus on building relationship with the buyers, especially coming out of this COVID experience where they were making record breaking profits without any effort because of the supply and demand factor. So, not only they didn't increase loyalty and retention during those years with low supply and high demand, but they ruined them. They made more loyal buyers, repeat buyers, than ever before. So now dealers suffer and complain that there's lack of loyalty. You did this. It wasn't the buyer. You did this because of the way you treated the buyer during difficult times. And you use the leverage in the worst possible way. And I'm not talking about all dealers, but the majority, the body of dealers, 80%, at least 90% of the dealers have transactional mindset. And you can see it, lack of retention, the huge turnover. Every one of those dealers, you can recognize those dealers because they have amazing turnover. You go back to service your car, none of the salespeople that you witnessed last time are still there. Different managers, different leadership team. I mean, it's insane how many managers are looking for jobs on LinkedIn. Just go on LinkedIn and see how many managers are out of work because they're no longer relevant because right now it's pruning season. So, moving on. The next category are self generated opportunities, referrals, my favorite. I don't think anyone on the planet had invested more time than this guy researching, studying, and collecting referrals. There's a science about referrals that I believe I can show you easily, and I understand referrals, and that's my favorite group of clients because of the trust factors. So referrals allow you to convert buyers in the most efficient way because they trust you, they're not afraid of you, and that allows me to have shorter sales cycle, offer better efficiency, offer better customer experience, and referrals are my favorite. Now, needless to say, the only way dealers attract referrals is by offering bird dogs, by offering money, which is counterintuitive because referral is a compliment for your character. So imagine the experience of negotiating with the buyer and going through this process of uh, building their trust, and then eventually the buyer trusts you enough to do business with you, and then you offer them $100 or $200 or $300 or whatever. They feel like multi-level marketing. They feel like, why would I do this for you? Like, many dealers and many salespeople have been using this system for hundreds of years, and it doesn't work. If it was working, you would have doorbusters every single day, but you don't. Every time when you offer bird dog, you actually ruin the relationship with your buyer. You turn them off, and you'll never see referrals. I mean, I've never seen a system that was so ineffective and so popular. So again, referral is the highest compliment for your character. It has nothing to do with money. You're mixing referrals with commission. Only about 10% of the buyers are interested in some sort of reward, some sort of affiliation, some sort of a kickback. The other 90% would gladly give you referrals because they trust you, because they appreciate you, because they're loyal to you. But in order for you to do that, to learn how to get more than one, two, three, but 30, 40, 50, 60, 100. My personal record is 300. Some of my students have collected 600, 800 referrals. In order to do that, you need to get a hold of me, and I will show you a way to ask for referrals and get them every single time without offering a penny, without paying a dollar for them. Because when you build a real connection with your buyer, real trust, when you have good, genuine intention, you're going to be rewarded for your hard work. If you're transactional and if your intention is money and you just want to get as much money as possible and you have whatever it takes attitude, of course you don't deserve referrals, because the definition for referral is approval of your character. So you must convince them that you're trustworthy and someone worth being loyal to. Either way, moving on, the next category are self generated through personal branding. So you have amazing opportunity as a salesperson, as a mini broker, to build a personal brand and use proximity and frequency to get in front of your buyers and allow them to be convinced that you're actually offering something unique and different. Because when you have a industry with bad reputation and you're being stereotypically discriminated for crimes you didn't commit, it's your duty to stand in front of the line and work twice as hard to convince buyers that you're not this arrogant transactional salesperson, but instead you're offering way more value than that person. You're offering education. You're doing everything the opposite way so you can build their trust. And you never had a better opportunity than right now to use social media to build personal brand and convince buyers that you are unique, that you are different. Convince them in your genuine intention, educate them, give them what the other are not, and do things the exact opposite way, and make the transactional buyer, the person that you're paying for crimes you didn't commit, your enemy, and expose them because they've already been exposed. All you're going to do is speak the customer's language. They've already been exposed. So proximity and frequency allows you to show up at the same time, reach people in intimate spots through these phones. Like literally, everybody wakes up and they stare at their phone. Boom. Right now, you're probably watching me on your phone. As a matter of fact, if you're watching me on your phone, comment that you are watching this video on your phone to see how many people are actually watching this video on their mobile device. So use proximity, use the community to build a personal brand that's unique, personalize your brand, and earn the right to be chosen and earn the loyalty. And then the final category that dealers serve are service clients. So service clients are already giving you compliment that they trust your facility for servicing their vehicle, and it's probably one of the easiest transitions and one of the most pleasant way to buy a car, to upgrade your car. So as long as the dealer convinces the service buyer that it's much better to invest their money in a newer, nicer product, improved product, and when they convince them that the value exceeds the price, is the smoothest transition, and customers, service customers, absolutely love upgrading their vehicles. Needless to say, dealers prefer to complain how slow it is and how Santa Claus is stealing their business than to go and engage with service buyers. It's just the negative attitude towards the service buyers is really unjustified. So, those are the categories. Those are the categories. And Amazon, thankfully, is going to affect the dealers with only about 10% of the buyers. I believe that only about 10% of the consumers know exactly what they want. The salesperson's duty, the salesperson's job, the salesperson's mission is to help consumers figure out exactly what they want. They're very similar to doctors. I mean, we can all find symptoms online and best ways of healing and find the medicine that we're looking for on Google, but we still go to doctors, right? And what is our hope? That the doctor is going to ask us questions we didn't ask ourselves, that is going to touch on something we didn't find on Google, that they're expert in something that it's we don't have any access to. And that's exactly what the doctor would tell us as well. The doctor would say, look, don't trust Google. Let me go through my process of investigation. Let me diagnose the problem so you could have the fastest healing. Now, are all doctors ethical? No, 90% of the doctors are not ethical. 500,000 people in America die from doctors' mistakes and modern medication. So we still trust doctors, more than we trust car dealers and more than we trust car salespeople. But if car salespeople act a little bit like a doctor and own the fact that they're responsible for figuring out what you want, what you need, and offer you alternatives to what you want and what you need without attaching to your decision and without judging and assuming, then clients will have such an amazing experience buying. So our responsibility as salespeople and car salesman's responsibility is to diagnose exactly what you want, to ask you, the consumer, questions you didn't ask yourself, and to offer you solutions that are affordable, solutions that make sense, solutions that are uh, addressing your wants and needs precisely, and to make sure that they allow you and give you the respect to make your own decisions. And that's what, and to educate you on every step of the process, not to use abbreviations that you don't understand, but to educate you on how the financing works, what's in your best interest, how to get the lowest interest rate, how is the interest rate determined, to educate you on the product, to be passionate about the product, and share the benefits of the product. You know, salespeople skip that process all along, and they want to focus on the meat and potatoes and the price. And that's what turns off the buyers, because the buyers go there with hope to learn something, with hope to change their mind. So many dealers are making a huge mistake, and they're surrendering to Amazon by thinking that because we're in the informational age, the buyer knows what they want. Only 10% of the buyers know what they want, and they're no longer coming to you. They're going to go to Amazon, they're going to go to Carvana, they're going to go to any app that offers 100% online experience, and those buyers are going to skip the dealer and skip the salesperson because they know what they want. But 90% of them are still uncertain. They're still anxious because there are so many options out there. They're still needing to touch, feel, smell the product before they buy it. And they're hoping, again, I can't stress enough, they're hoping that you would actually take the time to diagnose exactly what the problem is and exactly what they need, and offer them an alternative that saves them money, or alternative that solves the problem in a much better way. That's all the buyers need. So dealers make three major mistakes. They don't qualify the buyer's ability to invest. They don't qualify the buyer's wants and needs by asking them questions they didn't ask themselves, and they're counting on the buyer to do all the work, and they don't offer alternatives to the buyers. So the buyers are now forced to go search for alternatives somewhere else, and the buyers are turned off by the salespeople who are pushing specific product, and don't educate the buyer on what to expect. So all these objections that the buyers are giving you, I gotta think about it, I gotta talk to this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, is basically saying you're not doing your job, you're not professional, you're not diagnosing, you're no better than Amazon, you're no better than Carvana. So salespeople are firing themselves. It's so sad. It's so sad to see this public suicide in the industry that I love so much and has been so good to me. I'm so grateful to the car industry. And it's sad to see salespeople who don't recognize basic psychology of decision making, and they would never go through the same process they're offering their buyers. They would never go through the same experience. They would never buy products and services the same way they're selling them, but they expect the buyers to submit to them and surrender to this outdated approach that it's no longer relevant. So those are the combinations and the reasons why Amazon is stealing the lunch. Now, would dealers survive? Yep. How can they fight Amazon? Will Amazon sell cars in the future? Absolutely. They would increase selling cars. They would sell more cars. Not only Amazon, Google wants to get into the car business. Apple wants to get into the car business. They're already building self-driven cars to remove the driver, to have full control. So that's why we're pushing so hard for EVs, because they're, with kill switch and all these things, they're easier to control. So are we going to survive this? Well, one thing about Amazon, they don't just want to sell cars. They want to enter the automotive industry, and the reason for that is they want to get into Hyundai's cloud infrastructure, because Hyundai is a massive company. They're probably one of the largest manufacturers. Again, they build robots, they build machines that build cars. This machine that builds the Toyota Corolla in 9 hours is built by Hyundai. So they're a massive company. For those of you that don't know, they also own Kia. And Hyundai has a massive cloud infrastructure, and Amazon wants to offer their web services because they're the largest server in the world to Hyundai. And why? Because they want Alexa to be in every one of your cars. Because if the Alexa is there, now they can listen to you in your car. I mean, Alexa is already in your home, Alexa is already on your TV, they're listening to your TV, in your Fire Stick. Alexa, they want Alexa in your car. They want Alexa to be listening and watching you all the time. So that's the main vision for Amazon, or why they want to be in the car industry, is because they want Alexa in your car. Now, is Amazon selling cars right now? Not yet, but they will be 2 weeks from now. And um, and they want to attract other brands as well. So they're going to prove this concept with Hyundai. And trust me, I predicted right now officially that Lexus, Toyota, Acura, Honda, most of the Japanese brands are going to follow really fast. And it's only a matter of time until they do. So, how do we survive Amazon? You don't survive Amazon, you partner with them. And I think dealers are going to have a different version of lean and mean. They're going to have to get rid of the transactional salespeople. They're not creating relationships. So the value of the salesperson would be to create relationships with buyers, to build their own book of business. So there's a lot of dealers that want to control the sales body. They don't want the sales body to build those relationships, and they're going to probably disappear. Is Amazon getting ready to buy your dealership? Absolutely. They want to take all of the profit, not just the sales commission, but they want to take the profit from the service department and the parts department as well. They're in the business of selling parts already, and they're in the business, they want to get into the business of servicing. So if they can do a better job partnering with the manufacturer, they will. That's why dealers need to be alert. And there's really three types of dealers. The first type of dealers, they recognize the contraction of the business, and they would want to stop the bleeding and to have the least amount of damage throughout this pruning season, survive, and survive better than their competitors. So they have a strategy on how to survive. There is a second type of dealers and auto groups and organizations. They're going to use this opportunity to take some of the market share and steal the lunch from dealers who are not preparing for the storm, because it's inevitable a big storm is coming. And the third type of dealers are delusional dealers, and there's so many of them that survived on accident, and they think things are going back to normal. They still think that things are the same as COVID. There's some dealers that are so delusional that they still live in the 90s and they still play the same tricks they were playing in the 90s. And let's not forget that there's still one blockbuster left, even though Netflix has been dominating streaming for many years. And Blockbuster didn't give up until the end because it still works, just not in the same capacity. Just like you can still use a horse to ride to California, but it's just not efficient, it's not smart. So the reason why those dealers are still full of nostalgia for the old times is because it still works on some clients, but it doesn't work on the majority. So the delusional ones are either going to be eaten by the dealers that are playing offense, and the dealers that are playing defense and are a little bit more conservative are also taking a huge risk. But all of those dealers that want to survive, they need to switch to relational, buyer oriented approach, not deal oriented, not transactional, because no one is more powerful than Amazon. So those transactional opportunities that you're having right now, you're gonna need to surrender and partner with Amazon rather than try to compete with them because they are more resourceful. They have much better reputation than you. So can we stop them? No, we can't stop them. But we can focus on the other categories I mentioned earlier. We can focus on building loyalty. We can focus on getting referrals. We can focus on personal branding and empowering each salesperson as a mini broker and building personal brands around each salesperson so they could be a little powerhouse similar to a real estate office where you have four or five you have a broker and you have four or five agents that have a lot of clients and build a massive book of business. That's where the car industry is going, I think. So I think there will be four or five salespeople at a dealership, or maybe even three, that sell 50, 60 units each, and all the transactional salespeople that are waiting by the door for the customer to go in and tell them exactly what they want and do nothing but paperwork and go on a test drive are going to disappear. They're either going to get fired or they're going to quit because they're not going to be able to survive. I mean, just think about this. What is the great customer service? If you go to get a massage, you don't do any of the work. You take your clothes off, and the masseuse, the massage therapist, starts working on your back and starts giving you a massage. He doesn't say, "Hey, you grab the left side and I'll grab the right side." And the only way for you to out experience Amazon is if you treat this business just like a massage. So you have to be proactive. You have to be two, three steps ahead of the buyer and offer them experience that is easy, efficient, relational, personalized, fun, joy, peace, no pressure, no stress. You have to offer the exact opposite of what's being offered at the average dealership right now. So only those people that invest in their personal skills, their interpersonal skills, their presentation skills, their relational skills, only those people, communication skills, only those people are going to survive. And only those people are going to be able to serve the categories of self generated opportunities. So it's not about how well you handle objections and argue with buyers and how good you are at rebuttals, but how genuine you are and what your genuine intention is because you can't fake energy anymore. How do we thrive? By not giving up on the human aspect, by doubling down on relationships. And if you don't know how to do that, if you feel like surrendering and if you feel hopeless, this is a time where I need to make a quick plug, and I need to share with you that as a salesperson, some of you know, some of you don't, but I sold cars for about 7 years. I sold over 3,000 cars, and I did it working 4 days of the week, 100% by appointment only, and 100% focused on self generated opportunities. So I've been building relationships for a very long time. I've been collecting endorsement and referrals for a very long time. Again, I don't think there's anyone on the planet who had spent more hours, probably over 10, maybe 50,000 hours on researching, reading everything about referrals, mastering a special process on how to get referrals every single time. And I don't only work with the car industry, I work with dentists, lawyers, transportation companies. I work with any type of entrepreneurs, even with entrepreneurs that have completely remote experience. Recently, I worked with a lawyer who works, uh, who has a license in New Jersey and operates from LA. So he's able to get referrals and endorsements remotely. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you want to build your business around self generated opportunities, I can help you with that. And we offer consulting, training, and coaching. So we coach the leaders on how to train the salespeople, on how to be relational with the buyers, and how to transfer that winning mindset to their teams because there are many managers that are not good leaders. We also train the salespeople in a way that they learn because knowledge could be a big curse. We don't just do classrooms and talk theory. We show them with implementation. We build the muscle memory for them. We teach them words. We give them a completely new dictionary that is 100% relational, universal, that could never offend any buyer. And buyers are always pleasantly surprised by that. And finally, very few people have been in the trenches as much as I have. My experience allows me to show businesses, to show salespeople, not just to talk about it, to demonstrate the expertise, to demonstrate the magic that I bring. And usually that's the best way to learn, because the first time when I demonstrate, they might think I got lucky. The second time, they might get inspired and pay attention. The third time, they say, move out of the way, let me try, and you watch me and correct me. And that's what makes Velco Academy very unique, and that's what makes Velco Academy very precious. And if you want to partner up with us, I'll be more than happy to talk to you, and we can start implementing these 100% radically relational processes in your business. So not only you survive this shift, but you thrive, because Amazon would never be able to compete with you on the human aspect. There is still human aspect that would never leave the car industry or buying a house. There's still a human aspect that is necessary. People want to do business with people. Eventually, we're going to get tired of machines and AI. So I'm very hopeful about the future. And like I said, when I talk to bankers, when I talk to customer service reps at Apple and different companies, it's disappointing how they read word tracks, how they tell me there's nothing they can do, and how they sound just like machines. It's only a matter of months until AI replaces those people. And I am passionate about salespeople. I want to help salespeople not only survive and thrive. I feel empathy, I feel love for this industry, and not just this industry, but retail. We actually work with restaurants. We work with literally all kinds of businesses, comedy clubs. We work with printing companies. Any business that has any type of human interaction with clients, we help them. Our strategies and principles and techniques work on people and sometimes on animals, but very rarely. So I want to encourage you to get a hold of me, even if we just have a conversation. Even if you feel like you can do it yourself, let me at least share with you my passion. I'm very passionate about building relationships. I've invested my entire life in creating environment that is 100% relational, radically relational. I am pro buyer because I believe if you earn the trust with the buyer, you get multiple sales and they get easier and faster and they're way more profitable. Trust me, because people like to do business with people they can trust. And the only reason why people don't do business with you is they don't trust you, or you're not creating urgency of why they need to do business with you now. So the only two objections you might have is not you and not now, and it's never the buyer's fault. So this is the hope that I want to share with you. Can we survive Amazon? Absolutely. They have already purchased Rivian. They want to get into the car industry. They're here to stay. If they're announcing this publicly, they're not going anywhere. And what we know for a fact is that they are prepared to dominate, but they're only going to steal your lunch if you're not prepared. So if you're one of those dealers that want to make sure they survive by implementing the right strategies and making sure that your team continues to work for you and you don't have to get rid of them, or you don't have to replace them with Amazon, because they're going after the sales process. They're not going after your profit, they're going after your commission, and well, which is your profit. um, then definitely contact me just to have a conversation, just so I can share with you some of our free resources that will be able to help you survive. If you are a dealer that wants to play offense and wants to take some of the market share out there that Amazon cannot compete with you, the human interaction, the human touch, the personalized experience, then I would love to partner up with you, only if our values align, if you have good intentions. And good intention means a lot of profit. It doesn't mean surrendering to the buyer. And if you are dealer that is delusional, if you are a business that is delusional, or you've already surrendered, it's only a matter of time until you declare bankruptcy or be purchased at a very low price. So I care about you. I care about your business. If you're a salesperson, we also help individuals. We have an amazing and very affordable program for salespeople that realize, hey, the dealer doesn't want to invest in me. The dealer's belief system and core values are completely different than mine. I want to do the right thing. I want to build amazing business within the dealer that doesn't share the same vision and mission. We can still help you. I used to work at a dealer that didn't share my values and didn't share my mission precisely, and I was still able to survive because the dealer wants you to um, do your job, which is sell as much product at the highest profit possible. But they don't necessarily care about how you're going to do it. So if you choose to do it in a righteous way, sleeping well at night, without cheating, without lying, without feeling guilty, I can show you a way to be righteous, to be honest, to protect your integrity, to protect your values, and to build enormous trust and loyalty with your buyers. And it's only going to lead to a lot of profit and exponential growth and residual income. Thank you guys for tuning in today. If you have any questions, if you want to get a hold of me, go to velcoacademy.com, reach out to me on a personal message, DM me, slide into my DMs. I'd love to talk to you about your problems, about your fears. I'd love to give you encouragement. I'd love to give you hope. If you want to get involved with some of our workshops, we do virtual workshops every Tuesday, every Wednesday. Go to problemsolvers.club and join one of our workshops. We share unique education there that you'll never find anywhere else, that comes from personal experience, comes from expertise that are gained through many no's, through a lot of rejection, through a lot of hitting my head in the wall, and investing in so many experts in the sales and marketing and self-generated opportunities fields. So I promise you that the content that we share is very unique and you're going to enjoy it. So join us at problemsolvers.club if you want to experience one of our workshops. Join us at therichmastermind.com if you want to be a part of a community that represents winning and what winning looks like, community that protects the winning mindset, that is a syndicate of people who want to grow together, givers that receive 10 times more than they give. And it's a combination of life skills, sales skills, marketing skills, character development, even physical health. We literally focus on every area of our lives in the richmastermind.com. If you just want to take advantage of our virtual training platform, go to velcosalestraining.com. If you're in the car industry, specifically, we have so many amazing tools. We have private coaching group with hundreds of tools and resources. We have virtual training library where you can watch over 3,000 videos specifically on every step of the process, covering interpersonal skills, negotiation skills, sales skills, closing skills, anything you can think of. There's no objection or clause that hasn't been mentioned there. And if you're in any other industry, we're not automotive exclusive. If you're in any other industries, if you are a business owner, there's a place for you in our community as well. If you're selling anything, if you're selling software, if you're selling business to business, if you're selling houses, if you're in real estate, we are super successful with real estate agents, real estate brokers. They collect way more referrals than car salespeople because of the longer sales cycle. If you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, no matter what industry you're in, if you're a recruiter, if you need to expand your networking, if you need more opportunities, we'd love to talk. We'd love to have a conversation. We'd love to share our passion with you, pass on our passion. I'm waiting for few more seconds, get a hold of us. Let's talk. Make it a great day. God bless you all.